guys, Joe here. You know, I got some emails and some comments, and people are basically just asking, you know, what do we do? Are we a self-defense school, or are we a self-reliant wilderness bushcraft school? And really, we're both, all right? You can sort of say we major in self-defense and we minor in wilderness skills and bushcraft. But really, guys, there's no difference in my eyes. They blend together. So let me explain a little bit why. Years ago, there wasn't a separation. You know, when you were a pioneer or cross-country in the 1800s, you had to do both. You had to have wilderness skills, hunting, you had to know how to make fire, you had to know how to purify water, and you had to know how to defend yourself. Only later, when we became a little bit more sophisticated, they broke all these things off. You need wilderness skills, and you need self-defense, right? It just goes hand in hand. And now, with all this shit hit the fan scenarios and all these other things, it makes common sense just to be able to blend your wilderness training with your self-defense training, right? And if you realize it, there's a lot of similarities to training these skills, right? So let's just cover a couple of those. Okay, so what are some of the common denominators with wilderness skills and self-defense skills that harmonize these together? Well, one, you have to learn the skill. Two, you have to practice the skill. And three, you have to be able to perform those skills under stress and duress. In other words, if it's pouring rain out and you need to get a fire going, even though you can do a fire in your training, you now have to draw on your knowledge and your resources to be able to get that fire up and going, even in pouring rain. Well, in self-defense, it's exactly the same. You could be in the training studio and you could be learning how to spar and learning how to fight, but unless you can take that out and apply that to a real-world self-defense, possibly getting jumped or ambushed or attacked on the trail or something like that, you need to be able to apply those skills under pressure as well. So there's certain common denominators that both wilderness skills and self-defense skills blend, or the rule of three. You know, 3 minutes without air, you know this whole thing. 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, and so on. Well, in self-defense training, we have our own rule of three. We have the 3 lines of defense, we have the 3 ranges of combat, and there's a lot of things that we coincide, and we just add that to our rhythm of 3. For example, the hexagon theory has 3 basic elements. So, you know, we combine the wilderness rule of 3 with the self-defense rule of 3. And that just makes your list a little longer, but the category is the same. Your primitive training is bow drill, it's learning how to hunt, how to track. Those are your primitive skills. In mixed martial arts and in self-defense, your primitive self-defense is your empty hand fighting. Or you could pick up some sort of stick or make some kind of bow and arrow, and you could make primitive weapons. Now, you could also take that and upgrade it and say we're going to do more modern man skills, which is, you know, getting a great sleeping bag instead of acquiring man-made gear. Well, that would also apply in self-defense when you're starting to get an edge weapon or you're starting to use firearms. Now, I specialize in self-defense because that's what I've been doing since I was a kid, and I've also been doing wilderness skills as I was a kid, but my major was all in self-defense and fighting, all right? And I want to bring this stuff and blend them for you guys that are out in the woods and learning wilderness skills. Just because you learn shelter, fire, water, food, you still have to learn navigation, first aid, and self-defense. These all go hand in hand. And if you eliminate one from your overall matrix, you're going to be in a bad position if you happen to, you know, need to call upon those skills in an emergency situation. So I just want to share some of this knowledge with you and show you that self-defense and wilderness skills, in my eyes, and the guys that train with me, are all one. We don't separate that.